Okay, happy Thursday. Greg Doucette, good morning.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning. I am good. I think we are live. Let me jump on the chat here, get on YouTube, and so we can pull up the chat board. How are you?
Not too bad. Working away, getting ready to go.
Good. Weightlifting talk, Greg Doucette. We are live. Get on YouTube. Oh, there we are. Let me turn this down. Got the playback going. Okay, so I have the chat board up. So everybody come on in and join the podcast on the live chat. If you're listening to the recorded version, hello. Hey, Jacob, good morning. Cheers. Well, Greg, I'm drinking what is this? Fruit Punch Rockstar.
Oh, well. What's the brand?
Rockstar Pure
Oh,
Zero.
Rockstar.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They had two for $4.50 at the gas station. So,
That's not bad. Yeah, I had a couple of glasses of coffee this morning. I got another one on there. So I haven't
okay.
had an energy drink, actually, to tell you the truth, since Nationals in June.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
trying to wean myself off. I'm just using coffee.
I think Aaron Torres is like, I want to say 3 months without an energy drink.
Yeah. The only thing I'm taking now is electrolytes.
Mm.
So, yeah, just make sure I've got my electrolyte balance in there and like some salts and stuff like that. But that's it.
My wife, Jessica, she tried to do a week without energy drinks, like a challenge. And I was at Masters Nationals in Idaho when she did this. She said on day 3, she got so sick and had a horrible migraine
Yeah,
and basically was having withdrawals,
yeah,
like
caffeine.
as if she was addicted to heroin or something. And she couldn't go anymore. In 3 days, she had to have an energy drink. She ran to the store with Levi in the car, drove to the store, went into I think she went into Fred Meyer's here, went up to the shelf, just cracked it open before even buying it, and just started chugging it.
Yeah, it's I'm not really off of caffeine because I like my coffee, right? So it's just I got away from the energy drinks before workout. So right now before workout, I just grab a coffee, bring
Hmm.
it in. I'm drinking that during my warm up, and then I'm good to go.
Yeah, yeah. And Jacob's right here. Costco has the best deals. I mean, you get a case of C4. I think it comes out to about, what is it, Jacob? Like $1.80, $1.80 per C4. And now they finally have the big cans at Costco, not the skinny ones. But Costco does have really good prices for energy drinks.
400 Canadian.
For yeah, it's probably more expensive up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, our dollar's down to almost 50 cents on the US dollar now.
Yeah. Well, didn't the tariffs just get kicked in yesterday?
Yeah, well, there's he's held off on tariffs that were under the free trade agreement,
Mm,
just on steel, aluminum, and cars. So
yeah.
so
Yeah.
we'll see how it happens.
Yep. Jacob's saying on the chat here, $1.50,
Yeah, that's
buck
cheap.
fifty per can at Costco there. My wife's probably gonna get mad. I probably am. I painted a picture that was way too extreme. Her busting into the grocery store, and it was Levi in the cart. She's running to the energy drink aisle, just cracking it open and drinking. She's like, "Babe, that's not what happened." But in my mind, that's what happened. But no, 3 days and she got sick. I mean, is that a thing, Greg? I mean, you can have withdrawals from caffeine.
Yeah, like if I don't have my coffee in the morning, like I'm addicted to caffeine and coffee, right? So I'll start to get a headache throughout,
Hmm.
a couple of days in for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. We have finally caught the live pod. Estevan. Estevan Soto.
Soto.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Well, happy Thursday, everybody. I hope everyone is just having a great morning and slept good. And cheers as I'm drinking this Rockstar Energy drink and Greg's drinking coffee. And let's train hard today. Let's have fun in weightlifting. Let's simplify weightlifting and love your life or change it. If you love it, go all in with anything that you're doing.
Yeah, I got a cute little story for you too.
Please.
So I've got some fairly good masters ladies on my team, And so Jessica was challenging me the other morning. She sent me her overhead snatch balance plus two overhead squats
Oh,
at seven
nice.
at 70 kg.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh shit. So,
Jeez.
so I put 71 on and did it. And
Oh,
then
good.
Danielle, who's watching, did 65. She says, I feel good. So she did 70. She
Oh,
weighs
wow.
62.
62. No, she's a little thing. I remember when I
Yeah.
coached her at Worlds in, what
Yeah.
was it, Florida?
Yeah.
Um, I gave her a big hug and I was like, "You are tiny."
Yeah. She like I said, she weighing 62 and she did 70 snatch balance plus two overhead squats.
You know, the discipline it takes to be a high level weightlifter and hit these weights that you're talking about, Greg, it takes a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
It's a disciplined sport. And Donnie Schenkel used to always tell me that's why he loves weightlifting is because it's only two lifts and you have to master them both. You know, it's not like CrossFit where you're doing a bunch of other stuff or, you know, it's, and it's not, and to a sense, he used to talk about how it's not like a team sport, you know, like soccer, football, baseball, which those are great, but it's you in the bar and it's a discipline that's unlike anything else in sport.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you know what? There's just it's so technical. It, a lot of things I found have impacts on your technical ability. Number one, your weight.
Mm.
So last year I was up at 89. Now I'm down at 81. I almost had to relearn the snatch because I
Wow.
don't have a belly to go around anymore, right?
Wow.
So your bar path changes, your ability to apply force to the bar under a lower weight is a lot different. So I find it's almost like you have to redo your bar path when
Well,
you drop weight.
and it's true. I mean, you're a whole different athlete, and then you have to settle into that weight class and get to almost know yourself as an athlete in a new weight class, like you're saying. I mean, even with you taking your grip out wider, Greg, you just
Yep.
took your grip out wider, and your lockout looks awesome. I think it looks better. It looks stronger. Your turn down stronger. Anybody listening out there, you got to play with your grip. I think some athletes out there, they think that the first time they're taught where to have their grip is just where they're going to have it for the rest of their life. And that's not the case. Like I talked about the other day, trial and error. You got to dance with that barbell at times. And that's the best part about practicing weightlifting, which is the snatch and clean and jerk. Talk about that grip really quick.
Yeah, no, my snatch was off going into nationals in June last year, and I was really I couldn't figure it out. You know, I had hip issues, knee issues, and all that. But the other day I was working with Sasha in the gym, and I just said, you know what? I just did a snatch wave all the way up to 66 and failed on 66.
Mm.
And then so I said to Sasha, I'm going to start over. So I started over, and then I said, here, Sasha. So I showed him my normal grip and
Yeah.
I did a snatch. Then I'll say, I'm going to move in an inch. So I moved in an inch, showed him my snatch, and I said, I'm going to move out an inch. And I moved out an inch, and he's like, oh, how did that feel? I'm
Mm.
like, not bad. And he says, well, that looked a hell of a lot better. So,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so I worked my way up on the 25th snatch. I did 66 easily,
Mm-hmm.
and then I did a 4 kg jump and tried 71, almost made it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's life changing.
Yeah. You know, and you said the key word there 25 snatches.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
was tired.
yeah. I mean, and this is what we talk about where, you know, even after your program, it's okay. I'm not saying this was separate from your program, but it's okay just to get in there and do some snatch clean and jerks at a light percentage to work on technique.
Yeah, and like I said, and here's what I'm feeling now is I might be a little weaker overhead with that wider grip, and I'll work on that. But the actual turnover is so much faster.
Mm.
The bar path is not bumping out because I'm hitting a little higher now.
Mm-hmm.
And I got short legs, long torso, right? And so that extra inch up on the body really makes your turnover so much quicker.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, you're a hip cleaner like Donnie Schenkel.
Yep.
You're one of the few in the world. I mean, you're seeing more and more hip cleaners, you know, bringing that bar into the hips and the clean, of course. And it's a beautiful thing. And I envy you, Greg Doucette. I envy you because I've been trying my whole life, but I just am not built to be a hip cleaner.
It, and I was kind of aiming. I was sort of aiming for 75, maybe 100 at the Worlds, but
Mm,
now I'm thinking, okay, well, I
yeah,
just did
bump it up.
I did 73 off the block, so I think you're right.
Okay.
80, 105 is potential.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think so. It's looking really nice. And I remember I took my grip out wide at Cal Strength, and in my shoulder, they were just sore. There was some pain there. The lockout was too overhead. And I have a very narrow grip in the snatch. I mean, I am around the rings, you
Yeah,
know.
and you're quite a bit taller than I am.
Yeah, that's true as well. That's true. I have a narrow grip in the clean and jerk. I have a narrow grip in the snatch. Even though Penlay liked a wider grip in the jerk, he liked
Hmm.
athletes to pop it out. I always had trouble popping my hands out. Chapboard, what about you guys? Standing up from the clean. I know athletes that have that great rhythm in the re-rack where they can stand up from the clean, pop their hands out, reset, and go. You see the Colombians do that. You see Rob Blackwell, my old teammate, was able to kind of slide his hands out right to left. That's always been a struggle for me, but I've noticed, Greg, I love your re-rack from the clean because you're able to pop that bar up, get set before the dip. Talk a little bit about that and give some advice to people.
Yeah, so I basically do that, and I'll come up and I'll regrip and I'll push it out. But one of the things that I've found in my jerk is I jerk with my elbows down. So my
Mm.
elbows are down on a 45-degree angle. I can't remember his name. You talked about him yesterday. Anyways, he basically does that type of jerk. He was in the Olympics 3 or 4 times there. Oh, what's his name? God. Kendrick Ferris.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yep.
Kendrick Ferris jerks that way, right? So
Mm-hmm.
wider grip, the bar sits in the groove between the thumb and the forefinger and across your palm.
Yeah.
Your elbows are down and flared out on a 45-degree angle, and then I tilt my head back and look up, and then the bar goes straight up from there. So basically, that's how I do my jerk.
Penlay used to always say low elbows, mid elbows, or high elbows. They all are good, and they're all a strong way to jerk. He said the one thing that you have to just do, no matter where your elbows are, is that wherever they are in the pre-dip, they stay in the dip.
Hmm.
So if the elbows are low like you, Greg, and you got that weight on the palms, like you said, and the bars in the throat, and you got that strong rack, which it adds a lot of benefit with the drive, is you're able to kind of use those palms to extend the bar, at the very peak of the extension.
Hmm.
But as long as the elbows just stay there and don't move around a lot, you're good to go.
Yeah, and the big thing, Kendrick explained as well, is when the bar sits on your palm and then the crux of your thumb and forefinger, basically when you go overhead, that's the position you're going to be. You're going to be stacked with a vertical wrist over your shoulders, right? If the bar is on your rack and sitting in your fingers, you now need to
Mm.
manipulate your wrist into a vertical position and catch the bar in your palm anyways.
See, I would rather have an athlete with a grip on the bar with elbows down in the dip rather than elbows high with fingertips on the bar.
Yep, yep. I
100%. And by the way, that's not talked about a lot,
know
because
some.
the low elbow technique is frowned upon in the sport of weightlifting.
Yeah. And like I said, it was good enough for Kendrick, what, 3 Olympics?
Yeah, the goat of American weightlifting. Yeah, three-time Olympian Kendrick Veras.
Yeah. And like I said, the only reason it would be frowned upon in my view is if your elbows are down, is if you can't dip vertically. If you dip forward, you're gonna lose the bar.
Hmm.
So you got to dip
Well, and
vertically.
speaking of the dip, as we're staying on technique here before we get into the results, you got to push the hips back in the dip. And again, you're not going to learn that in any level 1 or 2. It's probably blasphemy to say that. This is strictly just street weightlifting, but you got to push the hips back in the dip while keeping your torso vertical. The hips got to be behind the spine. That's where
Yep.
your power comes from. It's going to keep you on your heels. The minute you start thinking about a vertical dip with the hips, I hate to say it, but guess what? They're going to scoop forward. When the weight gets too heavy, the hips are going to scoop. The weight's going to go too much on the balls of your feet, and it's just going to be too forward. That's a little street tip. Hips back. It's like when I pull under in the snatch from the finish. I'm not
And
thinking of down. I'm thinking how hard can I shoot my hips back in the pull down from the finish of the snatch?
Yeah, exactly. And then the only other thing I would say is your knees have to travel out slightly, not forward. Your toes need to be pointed out slightly, not forward. And the reason for that, as soon as you start to push your knees over your toes when they're pointed out on a slight angle, what happens is your quads engage and your hips and pelvis lock. If you dip straight forward with your knees, you can't lock that pelvis in position,
Mm,
and
yeah.
you're too loose in the hips, and that's when you start moving all over the place.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Look at that. Advice on energy drink prices at Costco, coffee, withdrawals of caffeine, technique in the dip, hip cleaners, um, and taking your grip more narrow or out more as well. So it's been a good technique talk, but I'm ready to go. Greg Doucette, if you are, I'd love to get into the
Sure.
results here of GWL, the Gladiator Weightlifting League. And if you haven't signed up yet, go to doweightlifting.com and get registered. We got 4 more meets. The dates, let's rally off those dates real quick. Where are they at?
Yeah, I don't have them on top of my head, but May 10th is the next.
Yep, May 10th. And we
And
also
then I,
do sessions on Thursday, Friday if it's a must to get you in. If you're busy on the weekend, we will accommodate you in certain sessions through those 2 days. But it's only $115. It gets you all 5 comps. If you're going to sign up today, you get 4 more comps. And what we do is we take your St. Clair and we add up all the competitions that you did, and that is the results for the winners and the podium spots and the overall rankings at the end of the year.
yeah. So yeah, so get signed up. I got a couple my side coming in. I think I got
Perfect.
my 109s coming.
And shout out to Levi. I know we'll get to him soon because he's in the leaderboard right now in the men's senior division, and he had a great competition at Masters Nationals in Idaho.
Yeah, crushed it.
Yeah. So, but let's get into it, Greg. I'll let you kick it off on kind of where we're at with the results here.
Okay, so we'll start with Masters, and we made a switch this year. We're using what's called the Q Masters points, similar to a Sinclair, but and the SMF, but it's a better distribution of age and and weight, and they found that it works better. So the Masters worlds have switched, and we'll be using Q Masters points now. So that's why I've sort of thrown that in. So that said, our first meet in the lead with a 381 Q Masters is Robert O'Day.
All day, oh day.
Uh,
Come on, baby.
yeah, yeah, he smashed it. Did really well, and he did very well too. I watched his
Ooh,
Masters Nationals. That was really good.
epic, yeah, epic battle, back and forth, strong jumps. Had to make weight on the bar. I should add, not weight, body weight. Swept gold, and not only did he have an epic battle and swept gold at Masters Nationals, Greg Doucette, but he lifts today at USAW
Yeah, I saw
Masters
that.
Nationals in Atlanta, coming off of the Arnold. So he did Arnold, GWL Masters Nationals, and now he's at USAW Nationals. This is all in the span of like 2 months.
Oh, he's lifting too much. He's competing too much.
So there you go. Look, he's a Masters lifter. What is he, 60 plus?
He's 60. Well, I'm 60. He's 61.
And so that's motivation for everybody listening. He's a 60 plus athlete, 89-kilo weightlifter, and Robert O'Day trains harder than anybody else in the world, 6 days a week, okay, and competes often.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
he's a beast. And you know what I noticed, John, too, is he hit some big weights, but the your strategy there was great because you put pressure on the Russian guy.
yeah,
So you went out, you made your lift, and then made him make more, which he didn't. So it was good.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was a good meet. It was a good strategy there. And shout out to Andia for all her help with coaching as well, and John and Amy and the whole crew that was there. Boy, they tried to make a switch at 26 seconds, by the way, Greg.
Yeah,
They weren't
really.
focused, and they came in, and the blue coats were doing it. So I
Yeah.
ran up, by the way. It's a whole story.
Mm.
And it didn't just happen once, it happened twice.
Yeah.
I go, whoa, 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 you can't put a switch in under 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the blue coats were like, oh, no, he's right. And then the guy looked at me, and the coach got upset, and it was a pretty heated moment there, but I wasn't going to let that slide.
Well, it's the rules. You got to follow them.
Right,
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Crazy.
26 seconds to go, and they made a change. I go, no way, Jose.
Yeah. Well, the system should actually prevent that too. So you'd have to override it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and then in second place, myself with a 309 this year.
Greg
So,
Doucette, nice work, baby.
and it's coming.
Yes, good job.
Weights down, and the weight is going up.
Yep, silver medal right now in the lead, or top three, I should say, and in the rankings. And by the way, your training is going really good for not only the GWLs here, but for Vegas, baby.
Yeah, thank you. Pushing, like I said, my hips and knees are feeling better. So now it's gradually pushing it up so I don't
Good.
injure myself. So,
And by the way, really quick announcement, as people already know, Pan Am's here in America, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is now an open competition. Anybody can register, and it also is a last chance qualifier for Masters Worlds in Las Vegas in September 6th. So Pan Am's, Baton Rouge, I think it's May 17th that weekend, so next month, and that'll lead you into Vegas. So anybody listening right now, I think right now, Greg, I personally think that, I mean, we had 23 athletes at the Arnold a few months ago. I think there's a chance that we might have more athletes at Pan Am's than we did at the Arnold.
oh wow, that's really good.
I mean, I think the head count right now is at like 15.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll be out there coaching. I got the approval from the wife. This was kind of an added bonus meet that wasn't on the calendar for me to travel and coach at, but talking to my lovely wife, she gave me the thumbs up and we worked it out. So
Yeah, excellent. Very good. So in third place, we've got Stuart Young coming in at a 304.
silent but deadly in the tall grass, just consistent. You know, this is our 4th year with the GWL, and Stuart Young, I don't think has ever missed even a competition.
No, he's always there. He's very consistent.
Yeah.
And fourth place, our newbie Thomas Fowley,
Yeah.
and he had a 294, and first day on the circuit.
Congrats, Thomas. Glad to have you. And it looks like he had fun too. I think that the GWL, Greg, is a federation that you just have to do it, and then you go, oh, okay, I see how this works.
Yeah.
Because he had a lot of questions on email through my wife, and to him, he was a little nervous on how the structure of the meet worked, and his response afterwards was kind of just like, oh, I get it. It all kind of makes sense and clicks. So you just got to kind of just jump in the water, and we'll lead you. And once you do one, it's easy peasy from there.
Yeah, we don't stress out about it. We just have some fun. So we just go from there and walk you through your first event. So,
Yeah.
and another newbie in at 5 was Stephen Mojajolovic. I think I got that right. 287.
Yeah, there we go. Steven, thanks for competing and nice work. Top 5 men. Let's keep it rolling.
Sixth place, Andrew Kramer with a 286.
Nice. Andrew Kramer. Let's go, baby.
And seventh, we had John Garden, 284.
Yes, John did great. And by the way, Andy Kramer, we talk a lot about him coming off a massive meet at the Arnold, crushing the GWL, post open heart surgery. He just hit his year anniversary a few weeks ago. Yeah, he's just doing phenomenal. He's hitting all-time PRs in training right now. He's a team motivator, and it's just good to see him out in the Coliseum.
Yeah, it's great to see him working. That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Eighth place, we got Frank Colavita, 262.
Frank's an amazing story. I wrote a huge email to USAW. I'm in a massive post about him. I think USAW should do a story on Frank, of course, including Andy Kramer as well. Frank had massive back surgery. This was like 6 months ago, and was just pulled out of the Arnold. It's like, there's no way. Well, he did the Arnold. He defied all odds, and went out and went 6 for 6, full depth snatches, and swept. I think he swept gold.
Yeah, he did really well.
Golds across the board. Beating all his competitors with what he hit with coming off back surgery. I mean, literally 2 weeks before the Arnold, Greg Doucette, he was crawling around his house. He couldn't even walk. And then like a week before the Arnold, he was able to kind of move around, walk. He started lifting the barbell, and he goes, you know what? I feel pretty good. Started doing some light lifts, and he goes, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I said, let's go. Doctors were skeptical. People in his corner were like, I don't know, Frank. But he gained up this courage, this momentum, flew out to the Arnold, wanted to be a part of the team. And even though he went lighter than his best lifts, of course, he had fun. He crushed it. It was all about experience. He calls me afterwards when he gets home, and he goes, I'm doing the GW well. So he signs up, and then here you go. So he went from back surgery to thinking he wasn't going to compete the rest of the year to doing Arnold and GWL. It's just a great story. It's motivation for people out there listening.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's and then we got Zach Hartley coming in at ninth. He's into the Masters this year, 242.
Zach Hartley, the Hawaiian Warrior, the strongest pilot in the world. Let's go, baby.
And then lastly, in 10th, Eric Chevrier coming back off of a knee replacement at 172. So if you look at the trending here in the Masters,
right.
Knee replacements, back surgery, open heart surgery, and these guys are back at it. So what are the excuses of anybody who's younger?
And that's it, Greg Doucette. And also, it's a good point to make that even if you just have to go light and make lifts, do it. You don't always have to be in the best shape or hitting 90% or super strong to go compete. Go out there, lift weights, have fun, enjoy the sport of weightlifting, rack up some GWL points, be a part of the community, and let's keep this thing rocking, man.
Oh, yeah, amazing. So then, we move on. So we got 10 men in the Masters at this current point, and then in the Ladies Masters, we've got 12. Our first place, Jessica Cronkite with a 244.
Yeah.
One of my lifters I got to come out this year, so she's doing really well.
Phenomenal athlete. Congrats, Jessica. Let's see Greg, let's see if Levi and Jessica can hold the lead. That's the fun thing about this league is now with 4 more comps left, people are gunning for them.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it was really interesting. So you mentioned back to back, and then the week after, last weekend we went to the Atlantic Cup here, and Jessica finished in 3rd place in the senior division. So
wow,
very good performance.
Excellent.
And then in 2nd place we got Danielle Gaudette at a 219.
Another
one went the week after. She finished silver medal in the 64s at the Atlantic Cup against the seniors. So did really well.
Yeah, Danielle's on fire, and she's been, through a lot, and that's an extremely motivating story. The fact that she's training and competing and lifting, and she's currently silver right now in the GWL, and just her spirit and her will to continue to fight. It's inspiring, and I'm her biggest fan, and I just love seeing her on the podium right now.
Yeah, and last weekend it was a Triple Crown PR. So lifetime total PR at a 144.
Amazing.
So yeah, did really well.
Nice job, Danielle.
And then we got Jamie Abner, and she's new this year at a 216.
Jamie, come on, baby, let's go. Jamie Abner brings the heat every day on Zoom. Greatest attitude in the world. She's like the female Bud Pierce. She just brings it, and she loves weightlifting. She loves the team. She loves competing, and it's great to see her on the bronze medal ranking right now. She was a little nervous to sign up, pulled the trigger, and here she is, top 3. So I'm excited to see the damage that she's going to do for the rest of the year and the following years ahead. I mean, she's signing up for all the meets. She came from a CrossFit background, and now she's, over time, is turning into a true, authentic street weightlifter, and it's really great to see.
Yeah, and I think her numbers will just go way up because she's very strong. So once her technique catches up to her strength, look out.
Yeah.
So it'll be really good.
True.
Amber Barker, her 2nd year at 200. She's in 4th place.
Yeah, shout out to Amber. Nice work. And she looked good, by the way. It's great to have her in the GWL, and the technique is very strong, and we'll see if she can enter the top 3 podium ranking for next meet.
Oh yeah, excellent. And then Genevieve Pratt in 5th place at 196. They're all both out of Circle X Barbell.
Yeah.
So the big crew out there this year.
Yeah, shout out to Circle X. It's Freedom Weightlifting, Cal Strength. I mean, I can name all these clubs that we love and are close with, and kind of have that kind of Cal Strength, Penlay, John North, Donnie Schenkel attitude, and Circle X Barbell is just one of them, man. They just train hard. They got a great crew. They're all about team. It's just really cool to see a barbell club continuing kind of the boom days as we sit today. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and in sixth place, Ondia Azimi, coming back with 196, and she's been off a little bit, so now she's working her way back in.
It was a comeback meet for her. She did awesome, especially for all the coaching she's doing at these national meets with me. And by the way, announcement about Ondia, she signed up for Pan Am's.
Saw that.
She's going to compete out there, and then she's going to go right into Vegas. So she's ready to rock. And by the way, I kind of want to do a whole separate podcast on this, which I won't ramble on now because I know we got to keep it going. But the minute that she signed up for Pan Am's, her training completely changed.
Oh, yeah. Mental.
And she doesn't know what it means. What do you mean, John? What do you mean, Coach? What do you mean? I go, oh, Ondia, everything has changed.
Mm-hmm. She has a goal.
Yeah.
In seventh place, Sarah Siebeneller, 184, and she looked good last meet.
She did. She really did. It's good to have her. She's a very good athlete, by the way.
Yeah, and she moves really well, so I think her snatch is just going to go up.
Yep, it is.
In eighth place, our returning champion, Megan Apostolaris, with 179, and Megan came out. She has a back injury right now, but she came out and went light, and did really well.
And that's the fun thing about the league, Greg, is you could be a Seabiscuit. It's a race. It's a horse race. You're kind of in the back. She got in there and got some points. She's feeling it out. She's on the rise with her numbers, and even though what is she, 8th right now? I mean, you can't count her out because boy, if she stacks some meets together, all of a sudden now you blink, she's podium again. Possibly going for that to defend her title because she was champion last year. So it's all about points, guys. It's like NASCAR, it's Formula One, it's a horse race. You got to be careful. Some of these lifters in the back, they could scoot up on you.
Oh yeah, she can pull off a 290. Pretty easily, right? If she's in shape. So
yeah.
And then we got Vera Colonodi. Donnie? I don't know how to say her name.
Vera. I don't know how to say her last name. Sorry, Vera, but she's a light. She's got the greatest smile in the world. She's been training hard. Very similar story like Jamie, coming from a CrossFit background, obviously has done weightlifting and, pretty experienced, but now she's just really pushed the chips in. And she's, street weightlifting, authentic weightlifting, finding herself as a full-time weightlifter, and she's been making amazing progress, and it hasn't been easy because you got to put that work in, and you got to change some CrossFit habits and switch it over to more of the weightlifting side of things. But in training in the GWL, Vera's crushing it, and I'm just very proud of her.
Yeah, and then we've got in 10th place one of the Chevriers. This is Eric's wife, Miriam. So she came back. She was out a couple of years ago, and at a 159. So she's going to start that. And then our last two lifters, we had Sherry Rules and then Alicia Rio, one of my lifters that she was sick and Sherry couldn't find a gym. So they'll be out in our next round for sure.
Good. Absolutely.
All right. That moves us over to the senior men, and there's a shake up here this year.
Big shake up. Yeah.
We got Levi Nielsen, who comes out with an opening 342 St. Clair.
It's a massive St. Clair. He came out hot. Levi's going to be tough to beat. I know Ben G is the defending champion of last year, 2024 world champion. And, Ben's coming off an injury. So he's on the rise right now, and he's looking to get back up to some heavy numbers for the second meet coming up this month. Because look, he's got to take down Levi. I'm sitting, I think, in silver or bronze, but Ben's he's got to grind and kind of defend that title. But Levi's going to be tough to beat because he's catching a rhythm right now.
Yeah, no, he looked really good, and typically he comes out and he had issues with his openers, but this time he nailed his openers. I think he went 5 for 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, he did really well.
I'm going to say goodbye to my wife real quick. If you want to just give me just 30 seconds.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, and that will just move right along into second place. We had Michael Richards with a
Oh,
3:15.
look at me thinking I was silver. Look at me getting cocky, just completely bumping over Michael Richards. Yeah, he had a good meet, Greg, and he's training hard. I mean, he's really out for blood on this title this year, I think.
Yeah, he's got a lot more. I think he was frustrated at some of his lifts, but I think the next meet, look out.
For sure. Yeah, watch out. I mean, between Benji, between Levi, between Michael, I'm trying to get my numbers up right now for next meet. I mean, it's going to be an all out. It's going to be fun to see the results at the end of the year.
Yeah, no, it'd be very interesting. And then in third place, one of your prodigies here, Ezekiel
Yeah.
Lemus,
Wow. There's
297.
I am just a sinful, prideful man, Greg Doucette. I was thinking for some reason I was on podium right now in the ranking. And no, Michael's silver, Zeke is third, which by the way, he is absolutely on fire. I mean, Zeke is probably the most consistent weightlifter on the team. He doesn't miss a session. He's on Zoom every single day. He trains his ass off. He's coming off a massive local meet, hitting I think it was a PR total.
Yeah, it was.
He's signed up for all the GWLs. He's getting ready for a local meet in Eugene. I mean, he's a 67, by the way. And he's by the way, if you look at his numbers, I mean, he's top 10 in the nation right now in the senior division in USAW.
Oh wow, awesome.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, he's doing 97 snatch, like I think it was 137 clean and jerk.
Yeah, no, he looked really good.
At 67. I think his best snatch, I think he hit 100 the other day, actually. 100, so a 237 kilo total at 67. I mean, you're highly ranked in
No, it's a big number.
in the rankings of USAW, yeah. And the scary part with that too is, those are good numbers. I mean, it's not podium nationals in USAW, but I'll tell you right now, if Zeke keeps up what he's doing in 2 years from now, he can win senior nationals in USAW.
Yeah, and like you said, he just started, right? So
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
And in fourth place, we have yourself, Jonathan North.
There we go.
288.
There we are. Well, I'll take fourth place. I tell you too, this whole story here is it was at Lifetime Fitness, and I was on a bench press bar that didn't spin nor bend. And it was the wildest thing. I cannot believe I hit the numbers I did with that bar. But listen, no excuses. I went in there and I had fun.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, and you hadn't been lifting for a while too, because you're doing powerlifting, right? So
yeah, and I had the big move out to Portland, and
yeah,
I was kind of getting
lots of stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff there. But again, I made it happen.
Yeah, you'll get there. I think you'll be up next one.
I'll get podium next one. Zeke, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, there we go. In fifth place, we had Logan Black at a 282.
Where'd he come from?
He's just new into the scene too. I think he was. Where were they? Idaho or Iowa? Indiana, maybe. Indiana.
Logan brought the heat. He's a strong weightlifter, and we talk about Seabiscuit. We talk about the horses in the back, or towards the back after the first comp. You got to be careful with these cats like Logan. I mean, you could blink and next meet he's podium top 3 in the rankings. So, and let me tell you something. What the GWL is, Greg, and you know this it is motivation to train harder.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
And then they got 2 more sleepers coming up at 6 and 7. You got Cesar Gomez and Ben Gabriel. So each of them like a 270 and a 244. But I think those numbers are going to jump.
Well, Cesar's a rising star in weightlifting as a whole, GWL, Masters weightlifting, and he will be in the senior division in USAW. He's been lifting for 6 months. He just turned 30 years old. I mean, he's a young buck. He's got a 10-year window of elite training, in my opinion, as far as making a shot at the senior division in USAW. That's a big window, by the way, 10 years or more, 10 to 15, let's say. I mean, I talked about him on Weightlifting Talk. I say, give me 20 to 25, and we could still make a run at a high level in the senior division. But he's young, he's strong, 6 months in the game. He's already doing his best snatch is 115 in training. He hit 110 in comp. He hit 130 in comp, and his best clean and jerk is 137. So he's got a great attitude. He's out for blood. So when you say sleeper, that's a good way to put it, because I guarantee you that by the end of the year in the GWL, he's going to probably be podium.
Yeah, and then like you said, Ben's coming back off his injury, right? So and his lifts looked light,
Yeah.
just trying to make sure he doesn't re-injure his wrist, right? But I think he'll come way up.
Yeah, and you're right. Ben's got the pressure to defend the title. I mean, he won the entire thing last year, and he's got to defend it. Ben, if you're listening, and you see the PT work from the wrist. You see the eating and the stretching and the training and the climb back up and the discipline that he's been practicing, and a lot of that has to do with him wanting to defend his title. And that's the cool part about this league, is that it's giving him that ambition to climb to the top and get back to where he was.
Yeah, no, I think he's coming back. And then I got an error here. I got Zach Hartley in, but he's gone up to Masters. He's a baby master now, so I'll take him out of the senior.
Okay.
Then we got Mike Tessier, who would be in eighth place at 207. Again, another new guy.
Yeah.
And I think they were out of Indiana, if I remember right.
Yeah, he looked strong. He looked fast, and he looked like he was out for blood. To be honest with you, I said, this guy's a lot of new blood in the water, Greg Doucette.
Oh yeah, it's really fun to see it. And then the last one, we got another Chevrier. So just a young guy. Victor is his name. He's got a 30. And we're talking Eric. Eric starts them young.
Yeah, absolutely. And they look great, and they all lift alike. They have very similar technique. And then the technique is beautiful. It's a beautiful family, and it's just great to see the whole family. It's great to see the whole family doing something together.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That they love doing.
Yeah, it's very good. And like I said, they're just in their basement apartment lifting away.
Right.
So that's our senior men, and then on our senior women's side, we had the comeback of the year, Taylor Lucas, at 242, and she came back. She was in Gladiator a couple of years ago till her injury, and now she's making her comeback. So.
And by the way, I just want to let people know too, this is really cool to have Taylor in the league here, is that, she's a USAW senior national champion a few years ago. I mean, she's the champ. I mean, she's number one in the country. And she's an elite weightlifter. And the scary part with Taylor is she's still getting warmed up, to be honest, even though she had that injury setback. So to have her compete in the weightlifting league, it's just great. It's just cool to see, the top USAW athlete in the country, smiling, slamming bars, and having fun in the GWL. And I'd love to see more of that. I'd love to see more elite lifters in USAW come on over to the GWL, win some money, have some fun, and boost their training. And so we'll see if Taylor can hold that lead. She's going to obviously be very tough to beat. But we'll see if there's any Seabiscuits back there.
Yeah, and you mentioned about national champions. There's quite a few on the men's side there from Masters, and then Aaron Huss, who just became a national champion as a baby master. 215 in second place.
Yeah, she's in silver right now. She took silver in the CJ, gold in the total, and gold in the snatch. By the way, 3 for 3 in the snatch. She snatched 70 on the national stage, becoming
at 59, right?
At 59, she dropped a weight. Yeah, she made a big weight cut. So she's Masters national champion right now, and just phenomenal to see the other week, and great to see her in silver right now.
Yeah, no, awesome. And then it should say third place. And third place is Bree Eisner. She's a young girl out of Nova Scotia. She lives in Megan's gym. Anyways, I watched her compete this weekend too. She did really well, but 135.
Wow, there it is. I love it. Let's go.
All right, and then in fourth, fifth, and sixth, we've got all the Chevrier ladies. So we've got Marcia, Leanne, and Noemi, who's a returning medalist from years past. They're all injured over there. She's got a boot on her foot, but you're looking at Marcia did a 116, and she was in the league maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and she came back. And then Leanne is just a young one, just started out at 65. And
Mm-hmm.
then Noemi, Noemi, she's been in the league, what, 3 years?
Yeah.
Started at 5 years
Yeah.
old, and she's got a 35.
Wow. And we've just seen her grown right in front of us. It's just what an amazing transformation.
Yeah, and like you said, it's really neat. You got five of them in the same family lifting,
Mm.
and what Eric was doing was just sending me the videos from the basement so that they wouldn't be running around in our competition. So,
I love that. I love
but
that.
yeah, no, great group. So yeah, so that's the leaderboard, and then like I said, the next meet we'll get it in there, and then you'll start to see. I usually put the current ranking plus the past ranking, so you can see people moving up or down. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there it is. Go ahead and like the Facebook page, Gladiator Weightlifting League, if you haven't. All the updates are there, plus our Instagram at Gladiator Weightlifting League as well. But we're looking forward to the next meet. Congratulations to everyone who competed. Congrats to the podium, the current podium leaders right now. And again, 4 competitions left. If you haven't signed up, go to doweightlifting.com and get signed up. And year 4, let's just keep it rolling, Greg Doucette.
Yeah, and I think we got a few more coming. So, like I
Okay.
said, my 102, 109, and then I had a couple of other people approach me at the Atlantic Cup asking
Oh,
about it.
good.
So we'll see if we can get a
Wow.
few more. And they're fairly good lifters. Like I said, we've got a range of lifters from young ladies, young men who are starting, to people who are actually national champions. It's actually quite a spread and some very good lifting.
That's a good point you make. That's a
Yep.
really good point. Wow. Yeah, you're lifting with all different levels.
Yeah, and what I find really interesting is last week Jessica was this her first one, right? So we were watching, and she was in the session with the guys from Indiana, and so she was doing her timing on her snatch, and she was looking, and then all of a sudden the guy did his snatch and jumped 10 kg,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "Oh shit!" So, so she had to react to that,
Hmm.
and she had her best meet in a long time.
There it is.
Yep,
Spike the adrenaline. Absolutely.
yep, yep. So very cool, very neat stuff.
I love it. Well, year 4, competition 1 down, 4 more to go. Can't wait. Greg Doucette, great podcast. I love all the talk in the beginning, just a good old classic weightlifting talk for the first 10 minutes. And definitely a reminder that we got to get you on here at least once a week just to talk weightlifting.
Yeah, sure, that'd be fun.
Yeah. So let's go, guys. Well, anything last minute you want to say before we get out of here, Greg?
No, like I said, you keep saying it. Sign up, guys. If you
Yep.
haven't signed up, it's you won't regret it. And we've got like what really amazes me. You got people like Megan Apostolaris, who, she's been in the top 10 in CrossFit Games
Yeah.
in her age group, and then also second in the World Championships of Masters Weightlifting, won the national championships. And she says to me all the time, "This is the most fun I
Yep.
have weightlifting."
Wow. You
So
know what? That is cool. She says that. I love that, Greg. Frank says the same thing. Frank was, I think, podium at the CrossFit Games in his division. He competed at a high level in CrossFit, and he tells me all the time, it ain't nothing like weightlifting, and just the amount of fun he's having in competition. And it's just cool to see, especially, I hate to say it, as CrossFit's kind of, the ship is sinking, which is sad. It's cool to see CrossFitters kind of that have always kind of done weightlifting, kind of fully come into weightlifting now and say, okay, I'm going to be on a authentic weightlifter.
yeah, and like I said, these are high level people who really like the Gladiator because it's the most fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's your commentary, you know, my ability to basically go slow when we need to go slow to help people out because they're remote, and we don't get all up in a knot over that. And then everybody on the Zoom is cheering each other on, so I think that's just huge.
It's so fun. Let's go, baby. Well, I can't wait for the next one. What's the date on the next one? I should know
The
this.
weekend of May 10th.
Okay, good. May 10th. Yeah, good. Yeah, because the Pan Am's is May 17th. Perfect. Oh,
Yep.
that's perfect for all the Pan Am athletes, by the way.
Yeah,
Basically,
we timed it around a lot of the
yeah,
events. So the last heavy day, then go lift.
last heavy day. Absolutely. Even if you want to hit openers and just go 6 for 6 at the GWL as well, that's fine as well. So it's totally up to you, but definitely a good last heavy day. We'll see you guys back tomorrow morning. I'm breaking down an Iron Mind video tomorrow morning, and
Oh, cool.
that'll be very fun. We'll just keep these podcasts coming. And great job, everybody. And Greg Doucette, great show.
All right, great. Thank you, John.
Perfect. Brian Knight says May 10th.
All
Exclamation
right,
mark. Let's
Brian.
go. He's on.
Let's go, Brian.
He's on the chat.
I got a big guy coming after you, Brian.
Wait, no, wait a minute. Did Brian not do the GWL?
No, no, no. He wasn't on the last one. Come on.
Brian Knight. He'll do the next one. He'll get
Oh,
signed up today.
he was using that. I think he was saying he's using that excuse about I'm changing, doing a little bit of powerlifting for variety. I'm like, well,
Well,
you can do both.
he could do both. You could go open light, go 6 for 6, get on the board and have fun.
He says,
There you
let's
go.
go.
Let's go. There he is, Brian Knight. I love it. Okay, guys, God bless. Well, have a great Thursday, everybody. Let's train hard. And we'll see you guys back tomorrow morning for another weightlifting talk, and we'll just keep it going.
All right, we'll talk to you.
All right. Salute.